Giselle's on the open market, Josh. You should make a play.
I haven't seen her on the apps yet.
Though they have their own app.
Yeah, I know. I'm not eligible for that one.
And we're back. We've got a...
Thanks for hosting, Jason. We appreciate that. It's been a while.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great job. Thanks.
And we are back for yet another week, and it's a big week. It's the launch of the ever exciting new
There's a word there.
edition. There's some word that fits in
Did
it.
you just cry?
No, I'm still here. You guys can hear me?
No,
No?
you paused. You
Really?
paused.
You
Okay.
paused right where you said it.
Okay, I'm going to
The
start. And we're back, and it's a big week. Boys, what's happening this week? What came out? Anyone?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. Modern Warfare,
Modern Warfare
2.
2.
Oh, yeah. That.
And after beta, and I think all we had was a beta, but they break the beta into the PlayStation and the other platforms, and then Xbox got last. So we're going to go around the horn and talk about first impressions. 3 of us have finished the campaign. 1 of us hasn't. Who would you guess that hasn't finished? So we're going to start with that person and see what the first impressions are of this game. Mr.
I like
Stu.
the subtle passive-aggressive bullying.
Stu.
that
No.
happens
He
on this
would have if he
It's
could have.
actually-
He had a business trip. I get it. He would have done it if he could have. So
I
Stu,
actually started ahead of you guys.
You did.
I was playing the campaign before you were.
that's right. And
Yeah, that's a good point. So I will say I think, well, the part I got through, so I know you guys got further and you have some more comments that apparently will frustrate me a little bit, but I will say this. I think it's the best campaign I've ever played so far
Agree.
in the Call of Duty franchise. So I will give them a ton of credit. The realism of the campaign is amazing compared to the multiplayer, which obviously, because you're getting people from all over the place, has to be sort of dumbed down a little bit with graphics. Unbelievable. Like, if you've been to Amsterdam, the Amsterdam one is unbelievably accurate and really freaky accurate. So I thought it was really good. I thought the campaign I've done is really good, but again, I've only just done the tip of the iceberg. So I'm curious for those of you that are have gone all the way in and finished it, how you feel about it.
the double entendre.
I just
Ken,
can't.
do you want to
Let's go to
converse?
Ken. Ken, what do you
That
think?
is about the lowest hanging fruit you could possibly
See,
have.
if you just let it go, it would have been okay.
No,
it would have
but
been okay.
That's what we.
They never let it
can't
go,
now.
Stuart.
Ken, what did you
Can't.
think?
I agree. I think it was very engaging. The graphics were incredible. The gameplay, the variation of the type of tasks that you had to do. It wasn't just run and gun. There was some other things you had to do, puzzle solving and shooting from an airplane. It was packed full of stuff. It was really fun. Hard to put down. I think I agree with Stuart. It's one of the, if not the best campaigns that I've played in this series. Quite possibly of any video game I've ever played.
I'm with you on that.
Campaign. It was so well done, so well acted, scripted. Even had some post or mid credits stingers that were pretty good. So I kudos to the team for the writing and the whole thing. They did a great job. There's a ton of people when you look at the credits, ton of people working on this game, but they did an exceptional job. I really love it. I hated that it was over. It wasn't short by any means, but it was shorter than I expected it to be. I expected it to take me multiple days to finish the game, where I probably could have done it in a day or a day and a half. So if I had dedicated that amount of time to it, but I wish it would have been longer. But the way they told the stories, it made sense, and I love the teaser for a sequel. So I'm really into it.
6 to 8 hours, because there's 17 missions and it takes between 25 and 30 minutes each. So 6 to 8 hours. I agree. It's pretty quick. Josh, what do you think?
I don't know. I can't say that it's the best one. It was fantastic because I was just trying to think like some of the Metal Gears I really like, but in terms of the Call of Duty, like the game and the gameplay, I thought it started off amazingly. It took a little bit of a dip in the middle, and then it finished off with a huge bang. So I really enjoyed it.
You don't like the wax and
all
the
of what
binding?
you guys said is true. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine. We can start talking about that stuff now, but yeah, I thought that was a little silly and too long. Like I
Well,
get it.
yeah.
It
So when
was
you
a
have a stealth
good
mission,
concept, but
yeah, when you have a stealth
long.
mission, you know it's going to be long, right? So there's a lot goes into that, and you have to take it.
But it was
slow.
like one. It was there was that part, and then I feel like there was a couple of those in a row, and it was just enough. Like I get it, but overall, it was fantastic. I agree.
So, because
Do you
Stu's
want to
not
talk
the only
about
always.
some of the
issue you had, though?
specifics?
Well, I don't.
No.
I feel
I
like
had
we
a couple
shouldn't. We shouldn't go too deep into all the into the campaign until Stu finishes it, because there are some key things that.
Well, I can give you some. They're not campaign related. I took some notes.
Okay,
Awesome.
Well, but let's. Any last thoughts on campaign before, without ruining future missions that Stu hasn't played yet? Any last thoughts on campaign before we get into multiplayer? Because there's a lot to talk about on multiplayer, and we've all been playing it.
Well, no, I wanted to give a couple nits on the campaign, not
okay.
specific to the missions.
Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it.
I thought the character animations were awesome, but they still have the dead eyes. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Like they can never quite get the eyes right to where they always look like it's just a dead robot. But the animations and the mouths and all that were unbelievable.
Yeah, there's a like a glossiness missing or something with the eyes that they can't seem to get right. I mean, the animations of the eyes and the way they look are pretty neat, but there's something off that takes you out of the realism. I agree.
Yeah, exactly. And there were a couple of hard crashes, like at certain points where I had to figure out how to get around it because it just kept crashing and crashing. Like you'd be bursting through a door and it would completely freeze and crash.
Really? I
but
never
if
had
I
a
was
crash.
to shoot as soon as I got in the door, as soon as I shot as soon as I got in the door, it would get me past it. It was just odd. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it was
funny.
just frustrating.
Ken, did you have
I did. Well, not that specific one, but I did have crashes. I mean, it would take me all the way out to the Xbox menu.
Wow.
Yeah.
The main screen. Yep. So the first one I had was actually comical because we've all done this mission. It's the very opening mission where you have to drive basically a missile as it goes to the target.
Oh yeah.
And I fell short of the target, and the screen goes black and said you missed the target. And then it kicks me out to the Xbox menu.
Oh, wow. Didn't do that.
And then I was like, oh, that's weird. Okay, well, all right. So I started the game again, and then I tried to resume the mission, and it would crash on me. It was basically telling me, if I can't even do the first mission controlling a missile, then I'm too stupid to play this game. So that's how I felt about it. And so I ended up having to create a new save game to be able to continue past it. It just kept crashing on me.
Wow.
But I had crashes later on as well, though. But they were not
I had
the same as yours.
There were 2 points where I kept crashing.
It's very weird.
The only other thing I would say that doesn't go mission specific is I feel like the lack of help from your friendlies sometimes is like shocking. Like when they're just like sitting in the middle of a room and they're just like, oh, I'll just hang here while you have to waste 30 guys. Like, can you get like 3 maybe or 4?
Well, what level? What level did you get?
I don't want to say because I don't want to screw it up for Stu. But
no.
There was a
difficulty
sniper.
Level? The second one, not hardened. The one
regular, normal, or whatever. There was a sniper round. I'm not going to tell you the specifics of it, but you had Price with you, and I found that he was very forgiving of me when I would miss my targets. And he would make comments about my, training and stuff like that. It was very, very funny. So that was a lot of fun.
Have you gotten to that yet where you're doing the sniping mission with, oh gosh, I think that's my favorite mission.
No, I think I just got past, what do you call it? Amsterdam, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're going to dig it. I am interested to see if you get crashes. I'm surprised that Jason didn't experience any crashes. Of it. I thought it was going to be a very regular thing.
Okay, so that was campaign, and we'll talk more about that when Stu gets all the way through it, because we do want to talk about some of the annoying parts of the campaign, and we keep referring to it, but we haven't gone into specifics. And I think any of you that have played it will know exactly what we're talking about. So we'll come back to that. But we're going to go to multiplayer, and Stu's played a lot of that. And then, Stu, tell us your first impressions, but then also tell us what you heard about tricks on ranking up your guns. I thought that was a cool suggestion. We're going to try that later.
Yeah, so a couple things. So far I like it. I mean, it's good. It's like the beta. It's good. I think I wouldn't, I'm just jumping in and playing. I wouldn't say that I've taken a ton of time to think about how to switch guns and rank up. I mean, I'll talk about the rank up way to do it, but I haven't done it yet because I've sort of just been playing when I can. I think the maps are really good. I think the so far I don't feel like there's a ton of cheating yet. So that seems, but I think everybody's ramping up. So I guess we'll wait and see on that. I do think so far the maps, like the race map is really cool.
Super
cool. The detail of, if someone didn't do a race, when you go down the garages and then you go to the back part where the engineers are and all that, it's very, very well represented and done. So I think the maps are cool.
Grand Prix, I think is the map called.
Yeah, Grand Prix. Yeah, and it's we haven't done a lot of the like all the game types because we usually limit it down to the ones we want to play. But I do think, just in general, I think it's really good. I've had fun playing with you all, and we've had some stability issues, especially early. It was very buggy day on Friday, very buggy. We got thrown out to the Xbox home screen multiple times. We were in games.
Yeah, locked up quite a bit.
Yeah, I guess that's to be expected, though. I guess, part of me goes, do I want some beta-ish code and not be able to play until it's perfect, knowing it'll never be perfect, or do I just want it? And I'm okay with just having it and wanting it. So I think it's really good. The one thing is obviously ranking up guns, for those of you that don't play Call of Duty, is really important. You want to get because if not, guns sort of spray like if you're holding a hose with no end on it and it's sort of spraying around, you get some drift. So one of the tricks that I saw one of the YouTubers do was, in order to get, it's based on kills and you get points, XP points. But if you play the invasion map, which has a lot of bots right now, and I'm sure they're going to nerf this, if you bots count the same as normal players, and bots are not as smart as normal players. So if you catch them, they all come down these helicopters. So if you catch them when they drop down and literally just kill them all, you get as many points as you would if you killed real humans who are actually trying to outthink you. So I'm going to try to rank up some guns pretty quickly so I can get some of the attachments. But other than that, I've enjoyed playing with you guys and it's been fun so far. And I think the new interface sucks. I was going to put it out there. I don't think it's as intuitive. We used to have everything on one page. Now I've got to scroll and go to multiples and hit different buttons. And it sounds very boomer like, but it's annoying, right? It worked before when you could see everything on one screen. And now it's like, why would you change it, right? It's like I could see all the games on one side and I could do the filter right there in that same menu. Now I've got to go 2 to 3 clicks in. As someone that deals with UI and change and all that kind of stuff, this seems to be going backwards in my mind. But maybe if you're a little smarter, the types of games I've played over the last freaking 4 years, you would say, well, Stu likes these games, so I'm going to pre-select these games from an AI perspective and let him change it out, not give me every stupid game you make up that I don't want to play. So rant over. Next.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of people have said the same thing about the UI. Hopefully they'll make some adjustments. Ken, what's your first impression of the multiplayer? Now that we're past beta, we're into the full deal.
I'm pretty impressed with it. I enjoy that they've brought back and I'm stealing this from Josh. I like that they're bringing the daily challenges because it gives me a goal, instead of just going in there and playing the game. I'm a goal oriented type person.
He's our completionist. Ken's our completionist.
Yeah, I'm a completionist. So I enjoy that they have those and chasing those. But all in all, I beyond the troubles we had earlier on Friday, I think it's it's one of the best multiplayers since Cold War. Cold War we really liked. We don't like Vanguard, but I think this really is on par, if not better, than Cold War. I like the weapons, the way the gunsmith, the new thing they're doing there is a bit odd. And you'll read articles about people that say, look, you got to spend almost an hour understanding the gunsmith and how you can unlock certain things. Like, for instance, if you're just going through the M4 base, you'll see that you can't get the sights for all the M4 weapons until you unlock them when you do the battle rifle version of the M4. You can't get them through this SMG or the assault rifle, so you have to actually use a weapon if you don't like, potentially, to get unlock some of those things you need for the other weapons. So that's a little confusing and a little. It doesn't bother me that much, to be honest with you, because I'm the type that will go out and try to maximize every weapon just to get all the attachments. But you have to be aware of it. When you max out a weapon, you need to move on to the next level or the next weapon in that series to be able to get all the attachments, because you'll notice that there are still some locked, even though you say you've unlocked or you've maxed out the weapons. That's a little weird. Stuart, did they say anything about the XP grinding using Invasion as well, or is it only for gun upgrades?
I guess it's the same. It's a good
Okay.
question, Ken. I haven't checked it out, but we'll take a look at it, because like a lot of the guys I was watching our camo grind guys. For those of you that don't know, like you can get your guns. If you max out your guns, there's different camos you can get for your guns. If you max all of that out, you get to the obsidian level, and it's crazy, and the guns are powerful. So there's guys on YouTube. That's all they do. Their whole job is to max out every gun, every weapon to the max it can be, and they're just monster players. I think XP helps there, and there's settings you can do to get more XP. Right? There's some other things.
But if they're grinding for camos, the camos don't do anything to the weapon functionally. It doesn't.
But you have to max out the guns to get to them.
Yeah, so you end up having a great gun before you ever get to those camos. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Josh,
makes sense.
What do you think?
Yeah, so I won't go into the UI. You guys have hit all my points. I think the game, I was nervous from the beta because I was getting my butt kicked, and I was like, oh no, this could really frustrate me. But now that the full game's out, it's way more competitive and even than the beta was. Like, I find myself, I still get frustrated. I think we all do, but that's just, people are better than we are. You're going to get frustrated. But I think it's way more even, and I'm having more fun and satisfaction out of it than I did in the beta. And that's what I was hoping.
So in the beta, we thought that there was a lot of cheating going on. Do you think that Ricochet is making a play in the full release?
I don't know. I think I don't feel as much, because I check kill cams.
Yeah, you do.
You guys know I do. And when I think something's shady, then I'll watch them. And, all right, okay, he got me. So it's not as bad as like Cold War or when we question those lobbies.
Right.
So I just think it's a more equal, even experience, I think, now, which is really good. So
that's good, because you're more sensitive to the I don't want to say more sensitive, but you're more attentive to the cheating aspect, because you go and look at the kill cams and all that. So
he's
that
more
was one thing I was
sensitive
wondering.
Very sensitive.
Well, he's more sensitive too, but I was just curious about that, because I was noticing that it was more competitive. I was doing better in the release than I was in the beta as well. And in the beta, I felt like it was getting overwhelmingly with cheaters. It seemed like there was a lot of cheaters in the game.
I look at it as, and this is not to be cocky, like if the KD is flipped for me, like if I've got like 13 and 30, something's not right. Now it's more like, okay, I'll be like 25 and 18 or something. That's way more acceptable than being negative. For me to be negative is frustrating. So I still have a couple of games like that when we go into a lobby where the people are just way better than us. It still happens, but more often than not, it's a more even KD, which is good for me.
I go ahead.
No, I was going to say, well, if you have another point, I was going to flip the point, but if you have something else, go.
Well, I was going to say that the games that we've played recently where we were outclassed and we tried to find reasons, like, okay, let's look at the kill cams. Are they cheating? Are they well hacking? Whatever. I've actually enjoyed those games because I start to pay attention to how they're playing differently than the way we are. So there's maybe a lot that, there's some truth to what they say about playing people that are better than you. You improve yourself,
But there's levels, right? That one game we played in Cold War where they were just spawn, like they figured out how to spawn camp, and all of that was just asinine. Like that was too much. But you're right.
That I don't think is fair gameplay. I don't think that's good gameplay. I think that's just subverting the system or capitalizing on
Yeah,
it.
I would agree. There's not much you can learn from that other than
No,
like
agreed.
get everyone to go to the spawn point and position yourselves right and just keep killing them. That's just
Right,
not fun.
right.
The thing that I was going to flip to is I found out the RPG is back. Like the Modern Warfare RPG is so
I know.
awesome.
Every time I think it's
Oh my
Jason shooting
God.
one of those damn things off, now it's you.
No, I just started today. I unlocked it. It's so awesome. I love it. I'm so glad it's back.
Okay, so
Jason
not the
was the
Pila,
king
you're
of
talking
the
about
rocket,
the
though.
old RPG.
The old school RPG, not like a rocket launcher or any of that stuff. Like
Nice.
the just the
Like the
crazy firing RPG. Throw it into a wall and see who you can get.
The Arnold
I love it.
Schwarzenegger,
Exactly.
the
That's exactly
Sylvester
right.
Stallone guy in the back of the Toyota, that one of those.
You're not taking down a UAV with this thing. You're just firing it into the hard point, and you're gonna either hit or miss. But if you hit, it's gonna be like three kills.
Do you know what you did to unlock that?
I think it's just level based. I don't remember.
That's
Speaking
awesome.
of which, Jason had the miraculous Simtex though that last game we played. That was
pretty sweet.
He literally it was like Verlander putting a pitch through like a net hole.
I think
It
that was
right through a window and stuck on a wall.
That was
bam.
a special
Right next
kind
to
of
the
rocket
guy's
launcher.
head.
That was not my Semtex. I fired that rocket launcher into that second. Yeah,
Oh, was it?
No, that was a Semtex.
because I did
It
both.
stuck to the wall, dude.
No,
I did
that
a
was
Semtex and a rocket launcher like in quick succession.
Unless it was the wall
No, it
grinder.
wasn't a wall grinder. So maybe it was Semtex.
That was weird. Whatever it was masterful. So good
So
job.
let's talk.
So there was a good one in Modern Warfare.
No, go ahead.
Oh,
There's a good one in Modern Warfare.
Jason, you're a little bit delayed.
No.
You're a little bit delayed.
Do you guys see Jason anymore?
He's blurry. Let's take a break. When we take a break, talk about this
Good idea.
problem.
Okay, and we're back. Let's jump now into maps because Josh was going somewhere boring. I want to talk about maps. What's your favorite map on this?
Don't take your frustration of your delayed thing out on me, buddy. Okay, because I'm going to take those crutches that we talked about earlier, and you know I'm going to do with them.
Stu, what's your favorite map of the multiplayer thus far?
Well, so I haven't played them all. Like we just played, and I played one I hadn't played before. But the one so far that I think is the coolest, I don't know if it'll be the best long term, is the Grand Prix map. I say this as the Mexican Grand Prix is about to start here on the TV to my right. But that what I like about that map, it's the subtlety of like having the cars going around track behind you. That's sort of cool, and the details. So what I'll say is the details good, and the map is good. Sorry, Josh, you're gonna make a smart ass comment. Go ahead.
No, I think that's kind of funny though. Like there's this full on ground war going on in the middle in the pits and stuff, and they're just racing still. You know?
Yeah, it's like 1960s racing. It's like it is a little bit disturbing, but that's right now. That's the one. I'm sure there's others that are better maps, and I'll look. Maybe hear what you guys have to say. But I'm a race guy, so I love that stuff.
Yeah, I like that one. I like. I hate the one that's like in the desert with the like burned out buildings where it's sniper heaven. That one's frustrating, especially when it's like a team deathmatch.
I think that's Tarak, Taraq.
And then there's one that's really good. It has like part water. You can jump in the water, and I don't know the name of that one. B's like kind of in this middle part.
Zargwa Hydroelectric.
Yeah, that one's fun. I like
that one too. The water in that is pretty amazing. There's apparently some achievements to shoot underwater, so that's cool.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope that's not a daily challenge. I don't want to do that one.
Ken, what about you?
How about the one we didn't like though? It was the Santa Sena border crossing, which is basically a straight line filled with cars. It can be fun at times, but it seems like that one's a very, very difficult map to get used to. It's very strange. It's basically 4 lanes that is stuck at a border crossing. All the cars have been vacated. Some have been blown up, and you're just trying to get to the other side or get to the hard point or whatever. And it's a very, very it's a very hard map to get used to.
Yeah, but I sort of like that. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Stewie.
Sorry, Josh.
Go ahead, Stu.
I was going to say, we were playing whatever the terminal, hard point, whatever that one's called. What's it called? Where you got the terminals? Headquarters, yeah. I mean, the nice thing about that, it does funnel you into a bit of a death funnel, right? So it is action packed. It's very, with that kind of game type on that map, it seems a little shipment-y to me, which is sort of fun, right? In that you're
Yeah,
just
it's kind of
mayhem.
small, right?
Yeah.
Except it has a bunch of, so you know, in Cold War in Nuketown, when somebody gets up on that ledge and they can pick you off, that cheat
Yeah.
spot we call it. I feel
Yep,
like
yep.
that map is full of those. If you go down those hallways, you can kind of peek through a crack,
Yeah.
and you can be
Hmm.
very much in cover and just sit there for a while and blow people away.
Yeah.
The map that isn't in the full release that was in the beta, Valderas Museum, which is a map we played a ton
Yeah, I
of
like that
during
map.
the beta, but they've
Oh,
for
yeah,
whatever
I
reason
forgot
they've
about
not
that.
included it. They in this article they say there's no reason given why it wasn't released in the full one. My guess is they'll bring it back some point through the season.
Yeah,
I
that's a
do
good
like
question. I wonder why that's not there.
the one was it the one we just played? It's called
Mercado?
Let's see. No, it's called the Albagra Fortress. It's got lots of
Oh, yeah.
multiple level. You can go right through the middle. I always like maps you can go way around or you can go straight through the middle. So this one for this particular game we were playing Hardpoint or Domination.
I think it was
Domination.
Domination.
That was a fun one.
Yeah.
Except when
I
they
like
get
that.
in the truck with the deployable covers. That was annoying as hell.
That was a great move. And that happens every new season, every new release. People find something that will eventually be nerfed. But this particular spot on the map, there's a truck, a container. What do you call those trucks? Like
Just a caravan.
Like a truck. Just like a little work truck.
U-Haul.
Like one of those,
panel
one of those-
truck? Not a panel.
It's like a panel
All right, I
van,
can't
panel
remember.
truck. Yeah.
So anyway, he gets in the back of it, and it's right on the hard point. Does he get domination time clock in the back of that truck?
No.
So he was
well,
just
keep in
helping us
mind,
get the
it's not
flag.
like headquarters or hardpoint where you have to actually be touching the ground. Once he's got the flag, he just has to defend it. He doesn't have to be touching it to get it back.
So he goes in the very back of the truck. He puts a deployable cover, which goes from wall to wall. So he's in the back of it, and he mounts on the top of that. It's impossible to get the guy because as soon as you come around the side, he's got an amazing weapon that is like a single shot. So we were not having fun with the
I
guy.
found the only thing, you could come on the side and chuck a Semtex and stick it on the side and it would get him.
Oh,
but that's, if you,
on the side of it.
Yeah. Like you throw it across into the wall and it'll get him. But it's hard to get there.
You could probably also use that what's that
Drill
grind
thing.
mine?
Oh,
the drill mine.
yes. I have
That'll
not
probably
used
work.
that yet. That's a good idea.
Yeah, that thing's
haven't used it.
frustratingly cool.
That
You know,
is-
Is it
you
hard to
throw
use?
it to a wall. Well, I haven't used it either, but you throw it at a wall and it'll actually blow up whatever on the other side of the wall, which is because it drills a hole through and then explodes a mine on the other side. So if you know that there's somebody on that other side, that's a great way to do it. I got caught with that plenty of time on Mercado, but
Really?
yeah,
Pretty slick. So I will say the one thing, and we'll talk about it when we've all played it. I'm just going to say the one thing I'm most disappointed at. So the developers of this game let us down tremendously. The four of us who like to play as a foursome in a co-op game, they made a 2-person co-op game. Now, it's super cool, but why not make it 4 people? Like the squads that are out there typically are 3 or 4 players. So I get that the maps are really advanced. So I can sort of see what they're thinking, that they couldn't put all 4 players to sort of render the way they need to render. But man, what a letdown. I was pissed.
see, I see what you're saying, but I don't think that I don't think they're trying to do that. They've done it in the past. Look, so for what was it? Modern Warfare had Spec Ops that had 4-player playability, and it worked like a champ. You know, previous iterations beyond that. Now I understand that the maps are bigger, more detailed, but you know what? We're on next gen. You know, we
Right.
should be able to get more than just visuals out of next
Preach.
gen. So we should be able to have a more than 2-player co-op. You know, now I will say a lot of the campaign had a little 2-player, feel to it, but there was opportunities to have more than 2 players in the campaign, or there were more than 2 players that you were on a team with. So I think that is, I don't think they should use that as an excuse. I think that you've got the next gen. Let's make that available. If you want to have people be able to do 2-player, that's great. don't make it required for 4 players.
So you
Make
think
it
it's
up to 4.
possible, and they just
Oh.
maybe will release it later this year or something, or just it's?
I think it's
no,
possible, but I don't think they'll do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they're not going to spend resource time on that when the bread and butter is Warzone and multiplayer. And if they can create invasion in those maps where there's so much action going on, you can't tell me they can't put 2 more people in
Yeah,
that
but
co-op.
you know what? Next time you play Invasion, and I know Stu's going to play it later. Notice how choppy that game is, as opposed to the normal multiplayer or the co-op we played yesterday. Which the co-op we played yesterday, the graphics are as amazing as the campaign. So it is. So I think there's something to it when you've got like a 32 person or whatever it is on those big invasion maps. It's super.
You're probably
choppy.
right, but I think in co-op you don't have that. You don't need that. Because you don't need a huge map like that for a co-op.
There's a
mission. It could be
massive
smaller.
map.
Yeah, that map.
There's a massive map, bigger map than we've
and
ever seen.
It's kind of stupid when you think about it, how big that is for what the mission is.
We're
It's
driving
kinda
for like 10 minutes.
Even 4 players, and the rest are AI. I mean, if it's a large map, I mean, Halo can do it. Their maps may not
that's
be
true.
as detailed as the Call of Duty, but you're not doing an invasion where you have 50 on
That's
50
true, Ken.
and AI. You have
Halo
4
can do it.
players plus AI.
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true.
I think
Halo.
They made a design decision for whatever reason to not have 4 people.
And they failed.
That's it.
I have a
It was a
theory.
failure. That was a bad decision.
I have a theory. I mean, look, we want to play all 4 of us, and we love that. And frankly, we love playing together. That's why I play these games. I do think they should take more into consideration that people would like to do multiplayer co-op. I'm going to give them a benefit of a doubt, which I don't normally do. They're probably looking at data, and they may be looking at data and see the majority of the people that play multiplayer co-op are 2 and not 4.
100%.
Maybe I'm just assuming, and they're making that decision to say, look, it's a lot of more time and effort and could delay the game if we try to do 4. And do we just give it to them or not? And so I think it's the wrong answer because we like to play as 4 people. But I'm not sure there are a lot of 4-person groups running around there. So maybe that's why they do it. Other than that, it would be nice to get an official statement. Maybe as OGPG, we can reach out and get an official statement on why. But I'm going to give them benefit that they've got the data, right? But then again, they've got other data they screw up too. Like they keep moving around 1-player, 2-player, 3-player, 4-player games. And hopefully they don't start that crud again with this new season. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, all in all, I think I've been most impressed that all of us love this game. And there were a few Call of Duties prior where as soon as it came out, it was a day or 2. And I'll be the first to admit I was maybe the first one that was already bored of the game. I'm loving this game. I feel like I can't get enough of this game. And let's see how long I say this. But I really do think all of us love this game. It appeals to all of us. It's not Josh loves his World War II. But Josh, I think you're loving it too.
Wait, what? Wait,
you love your World War II
II
genre.
Please repeat that statement.
I said you love your World War II
yes,
genre.
I do love,
but
I love Modern Warfare. I loved Modern Warfare. I liked it more than Cold War. Vanguard, we don't talk about. So this is very much like Modern Warfare. That's it. So
What I don't like is, and I think Josh, you're with me. I don't like advanced warfare. I don't like future warfare.
Oh yeah, I was trying to think. There was one version that I did not play,
It was horrible.
and I think it was Infinite Warfare.
Yeah.
Because it was just too much of the booster pack and all that crap. I was like,
You want that crap?
Let's
Go
stay
play
on the
Fortnite,
ground, people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Stay on the ground. Okay, let's stay on the ground.
Stay grounded.
Jumping is enough. All right, jumping is enough.
Jumping.
Okay, so we'll come back. We'll swing back around when Stu finishes the campaign because we definitely want to talk more about that. There's so much in that campaign we want to talk about. But because it's October 30th, tomorrow's Halloween. Ken had a great idea, as he always does. We're going to talk about Halloween-themed movies. So I know none of you have had time to think about this, which is why it's fun just to pop it on you. Josh, your favorite. It doesn't have to be a Halloween.
No, I'm not.
You can't even think of it. Stu can. Stu, Halloween.
Guys,
theme
I'm
movie.
not a scary movie. I'm not a
No,
scary
it doesn't
movie
have to
guy,
be.
so
It doesn't
don't
have.
take me
Hocus
with-
Pocus is a Halloween movie. It's not a scary movie. What's your favorite Halloween-ish
Yeah.
movie?
All right, so I'm
Nightmare,
gonna
Nightmare Before
Oh,
Christmas.
I know.
Yes.
I got it.
Stu,
I got it.
Stu.
Oh, sorry.
go.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead. All right. Well, I'm going to go. There's a ton to choose from. I'm not a big scary movie person either, but there's a lot of fun Halloween movies. I'm going to go with Beetlejuice
Ooh,
because
man,
I love
That's a
Beetlejuice as a
great
movie. I love the
Beetlejuice.
soundtrack. I like the quotes from it. I just like the idea. I just like the acting in it's great. The story's fun. It's a Tim Burton. It's Tim Burton, right?
The
So
music, Tim
is it
Burton.
is it Tim Burton? Yeah, yeah, and Danny Elfman, and so I think to me, Beetlejuice. I'm only going to say his name twice. I'm not going to say anymore. I just enjoy that movie, and I mean, this thing, and I love the scenes like when they're sitting in the waiting room. I mean, when the guys get the voodoo guys get the long thing, and he sprinkles in the voodoo dust on his head, all that kind of the little things, and the football team, and the lady with the smoking, all that stuff is good. So I love that movie.
Yes.
I think it's perfect for Burton, who's obviously a bit weird. And
my favorite line from that is when Alec Baldwin asks him his credentials. And he flips. He goes, well, I attended Juilliard. I'm a graduate of Harvard Business School. I've traveled quite extensively. I lived through the Black Plague, and I had a pretty good time during that. I've seen The Exorcist about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every time I see it.
Ken was reading that. You could see his eyes. Yeah, it's great.
Oh yeah, I was reading it. I can't.
Now, Ken, was that your pick?
Great. So that's my choice.
Ken,
that was one of my picks. Okay. Yes.
So we'll go to you next. What's your favorite Halloween themed?
So this was an off the wall one, which probably none of you have seen. It's called The Monster Squad, and it was a movie. God, when was it? 1990. Let's see. Let's look this up real quick. Monster Squad. I should have had it ready. 1987.
It sounds really familiar.
So it's a cult favorite. It's almost like the Evil Dead movie where it became a cult hit. But the Monster Squad, it's got vampire, it's got a werewolf, it's got a Frankenstein character, I believe. But these young kids had gotten together in this small town to fight against them, and it's filled with crude humor, and it's a delightful romp, as I like to say. Yes. So I really encourage you guys to watch it. It is not scary. It is just a fun. It reminds me of like a Goonies type movie because there's young kids, fighting against the bigger evil type thing, and it's fun movie. If you've never heard of it, I would give it a shot. I've got others, but we'll save those for after you guys have talked.
Josh, you've had time to think about it now.
So I think it's so it's not a Halloween movie. Karate Kid, the Halloween scene in Karate Kid.
Yes.
I think it's Halloween. Okay. I was thinking maybe it's a costume party, but no, I think it's Halloween.
It was a Halloween party, yeah.
Yeah, he comes in with the shower curtain, and the dude with the egg comes and smacks it on his head, and then you got the skeletons. That was just...
the Cobra Kai were the skeletons. That was really funny.
Correct.
Wow.
Good one.
Jason?
I have to say, am I delayed again?
He's thinking.
No, I'm here.
Go ahead. Go.
Just go.
Okay. This is a strange pick, but it's I'm thinking of my little girls growing up. Their favorite thing to watch on Halloween. Every single they had to go either before we trick or treated or afterwards. We had to watch the Charlie Brown Halloween special. It's a great pumpkin.
Amen.
Charlie Brown.
That was my other one. That was my other one.
I got a rock. I mean, my girls, they would crack up at that line every year. And so when I saw the list and that was there, I just said, that is the movie. I will never forget those days. It was good times.
Yeah, that's a
Ken,
good
you had another
good call.
You had another one.
Yeah, had you guys remember Creepshow?
Ooh, Creepshow, yes. And then the TV show, the series
with the mummy thingy,
Tales from the Crypt. Yeah.
Tales from the Crypt.
That was the Crypt Keeper used to tell stories. I liked those because they were short stories, and they were and I think some of them were Stephen King short stories that they made so it was like I don't know, hour-long show or half-hour show, but each little story was only maybe about 15 minutes long or something like that. So it was kind of cool to see all these little ideas of horror or scary things that they were able to make a live-action version of it. I thought they were kind of cool.
Very, very good.
What was the one that Captain Kirk was in? Shatner. That he saw the gremlin on the
Oh,
plane.
that's Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone. That's
Yeah,
right. Twilight Zone.
the movie.
Yeah, that was
Those-
the,
Was that him? He was.
that was
he
Terror at 30,000 feet, I believe it was.
Yep. That was Shatner.
Was that an actual like original Twilight Zone, or was
With,
that
no, the
in the
original
movie?
Twilight Zone with him in the early 60s, yes.
Oh, okay.
But that's
Okay,
a classic one.
It is a good one. Speaking of movies, this is one that all three of you saw. In fact, two of you saw it together. I did not see it. I
Oh.
will not see it. Not that I have refused to see it, but I'm just not going to see it. Black Adam. So what did you guys think? I think Ken and Stu went together. What did you guys go see? Or what did you guys think of the movie?
Can you start? My dog's barking. You start.
We went. Stuart and I got a chance to spend a weekend together. We went down to Greenville, North Carolina, to see our alma mater play, and but we took some time to check out a movie, comic book movie. It was a DC movie, Black Adam, with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And he plays Black Adam, but the character's like a Shazam character. So I went into this not really knowing much about the character. I just assumed he had the same powers as Shazam, so I didn't come in with any preconceived notions or anything. I knew very little about the character, but I had a lot of fun. I thought this was a really fun movie. It did a really good job telling the story. The story was interesting as well. And you really felt you felt something. Not only did you have emotion, but you also had laughter and enjoyed the action as well. But I really liked it. What'd you think, Stu?
Yeah, no, I think some people know, maybe not everybody listening knows, but I used to own comic book stores, so I'm a big comic book person. I wasn't a huge Shazam fan. I mean, I had some Shazam comics when I was a kid, but it was never big in the store because the stories never got really overly deep. It wasn't X-Men or some of those things. So I didn't have as Jason loves to say, I wasn't overly embedded in the canon. They did change some things around some of the surrounding characters. And I know we're not going to do any spoilers here, but I'll say a couple things. It was, as Ken said earlier, and I figured this was going to say a couple times, it was a delightful romp. It was a superhero movie of, if you took like a superhero and like just a rock movie, it was a rock movie. I mean, there were some things in there that are confusing, like how does he know English and those kind of things. But I think in general, it was a fun movie to watch. It's not the deepest plot in the world. If you scratch it, you will see that the paint is very thin on this one. But it's the kind of movie you can watch and have fun. And you go into a rock movie, you get a rock movie, right? I mean, that's essentially what you get. And it's a feel-good movie. And they do touch a little bit on the Shazam lore. And for those that don't know, Shazam stands for something. It's the different gods who give Shazam power. The wizards give him that power. And the name is a construct of all these different gods. And actually, there's another, the evil character is a different name, which is a construct of demon names, right? So it's very, very much tied into the comics. So all in all, it was really entertaining. It was very Marvel Black Panther-y like in its depiction, but what I liked about it, they didn't. The Rock is not exactly he's an anti-hero, right? He's not Superman, which, by the way, before we go, we're going to talk about that. But no, I enjoyed it. I went in expecting it to be worse than it ended up being, and I enjoyed it coming out of it. So I thought it was well done, and we need more movies like that that are just fun. So
I'm going to ask Josh.
Kudos. And actually, Shazam was the same way, right? Shazam was the same.
I want to ask Josh because you knew about it.
Yes.
You knew the background. Josh, did you know anything about Black Adam before you guys went? Before you took your kids?
Zero. No, zero. I thought it was fantastic, and I thought it was probably, you guys might disagree, but I thought it was the best DC movie. I mean, I liked the newer version. Like, I liked this one the best. I think they did a really good job of giving the backstory on him, similarly to what Marvel has done way better in making you have an emotional stake in the character. What I didn't like is they threw in these other people that I have no idea who they are, like whatever that guy's name was, and the tornado and those. Like, I don't know any of these characters.
You've never heard of Hawkman and Dr.
Nope.
Fate?
Nope,
Oh, Lord.
never.
Ken.
So
please.
like, So you kind of throw them in there, and they don't do it as good of a job as they do in Marvel, where they kind of like bring the characters along. They just dump them in.
No.
So, but I thought the movie was really good. The movie, and it's the
Yeah.
end. I'm not going to say what it is, but the end credit scene is fantastic to me.
The end credit, I think it's out at this point. But I will say this, that you're right. So the one thing about, so of the other characters, you know, two of them are useless characters. They're nobodies in the comics. And they're almost like the other characters they had in Deadpool, right? They had characters they wanted to throw in there, and they didn't want to violate any other, so they threw a couple in. Needs just publicly known. But Dr. Fate, first of all, Pierce Bronson, right? No, who played him?
Yeah,
no,
Pierce
yeah,
Brosnan.
who played Dr. Fate? Unbelievable
Yes.
character. He did a great job. And then the Hawkman. This is where I have a little bit of an issue. There are a lot of Hawkmen. And they could have, you're dead on right. They should have explained a little bit, because one thing about Hawkman is, and this doesn't give anything away in the movie because they don't talk about this, there are multiple Hawkmen, but the one that they are portraying is a character that is reincarnated, right? And they should have done something about it. So, which sort of, when you watch the movie, then if you think about that, the movie is a little bit, you're like, well, wait a minute, but then why not? Okay, but anyway, having said that, I agree. Those characters were superfluous, right? It was pretty much a Rock movie and a Rock and a sort of father-son type of
nailed
thing,
it.
right? Yeah,
but
there were some twists at the end I didn't see coming, right?
Can I just ask one question? Is Adam Smasher like a poor man's Ant-Man?
Yes,
Yeah,
he's DC Ant-Man.
It's DC's version of
Okay.
Ant-Man. There's a lot of that.
There's also a Dr. Adam.
Yeah.
Mr. Adam. Right?
Also, well, there's one called Adam.
There's one called Adam as well. There's a lot of that.
Shazam is DC's version of Superman. Or I'm sorry. No, it's
Superman.
not right. Superman is... Oh, God. Miss Marvel. There was a character called Marvel, Captain Marvel, who was supposed to be the Superman of the Marvel.
Correct.
I mean, look, it was a great movie. You know, I just was nitpicking, but it is, to me, one of the better DC ones, if not the best, of the new stuff. Taking out like the Christian Bale stuff, which is obviously to me the best stuff.
So I see where you say that. So you're the prime audience,
totally,
for that movie, and that's why I think that you feel that it is the best DC movie, and I'm not going to disagree with you. For me, as a comic book fan, there are other DC movies that I think the Batman film was better, because I know the character so well, and I was heavily invested in that character. That I feel that's the best. So,
but I feel like there's this group of DC movies which Black Adam's in, and then there's this offshoot, the Batman, which is fantastic, and you're right, is way better than Black Adam. But I don't lump those together. It's totally different things.
You're right, and even the Justice League film, I enjoyed that more because I'm more invested in those characters. I know those characters better. I found that to me is maybe a better film. Well, the Snyder Cut, of course, but I could see where I did enjoy Shazam, and I could see how a lot of people would really, really like that and think that it is probably the best DC film. He did an exceptional job with that character. He played the character very, very well. I know very little about him, but I have seen enough of him to see the character that I have seen in the limited reading or even some of the animated films that I've seen of him. But there was a lot to enjoy there. There's a lot of action, and not a lot of story, as Stuart mentioned. There wasn't enough story to tell about the other characters, so I feel that they didn't give them the just that they needed, to be told correctly. I don't think they should have had those characters in there. I think they should have just had.
They didn't add anything.
No, they didn't. Except I think Dr. Fate did.
Dr. Fate did.
He was able to understand his story, the Black Adam story, better, and even explain it to Black Adam.
Yeah, they needed someone to pull him out of the. All right, you got to help us here, right? They needed someone to do that, and that was.
Yeah, I think.
But I like anti-hero stories. I love those. I think they're great.
Me too. And some of the humor was funny. It was a delightful romp. It wasn't.
It was a delightful.
I am not aligned with best DC movie, whatever. But I think it was a good DC movie. It was fun to watch. And it reminded me of what those comics were. Like I said, they weren't deep. They're just fun comics that, frankly, preteen kids like to read. And, and it's a preteen type of comic book movie like we used to get. Just a little more edge on it, which I think is great.
Well, when I say the best, I won't. Let me qualify that. I don't include the Batman. I don't include Joker.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
It's this little offshoot universe that they're building to compete with Marvel.
Well,
I think it's the better of those movies.
No, I agree, and I think DC's struggling when it comes to that because Marvel had the right plan and they built it correctly. DC had a problem with licensing, so they had to make all these different movies, and they did them so differently that you couldn't tie these characters together. So now they're trying to backpedal and trying to make these characters so that they can have a more cohesive universe, as it were. Which I'm not against. I want to see more DC characters on screen. I love my Marvel, but I have a soft spot for DC as well, and I think there's a lot of room for DC characters on screen and I think they could have done a better job with the JSA, to be honest with you. I mean, that wasn't the original JSA, which is part of my problem, but they could have done it. I say, let's go back to a golden age JSA. Let's just tell a period piece like we did with Wonder Woman. Have a Wonder Woman film, but with the JSA, that didn't include her, but it had some other characters. I think it'd be kind of cool.
100% agree. I know you and I talked about something. I think, I would love them to go back and do a JSA World War II or a Marvel's Invaders. I mean, those were great series. I will say this, and we're going to leave this till the movie comes out. I saw the preview for Wakanda Forever, which doesn't look great to me, but I am going to lose it over Namor. I'm just going to put that out there now. Get ready for it. Not happy. Frankly, I think The Rock would have been a great Namor, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Oh, yeah. He would have. Yeah. Yeah, that's a topic for when that movie comes out. We'll have a conversation
Preview
about
look
that. Good. Canon.
Well,
I'm glad I don't know what you're talking about.
Big, giant pirate cannon. Anyway, keep going. Sorry, kid, Jason. Go ahead. Jason.
I was just going to say, when that preview first came out for Black Adam, I looked at it and said, and I knew I wasn't really the target audience. I wasn't going to see it, but I thought that all three of you would not like that movie, and it sounds like it was really good. Maybe not the best, but it sounds like you guys really enjoyed it, so that's awesome. I'm just going to add one quick, because I know none of you have seen it yet, but it will be the show we're all talking about before too long, called The Peripheral. It's a new Amazon series from the creators of Westworld. It's phenomenal. It is set in 2030.
We saw a preview at the movie
Chloe
theater.
Grace.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. It's shot like a movie. It looks, and the acting is movie quality. It is. It's going to be the show everyone's talking about in the next. There's only 3 episodes, I think. Maybe the 3rd episode just dropped. I highly, highly recommend it. Go check it out on Amazon Prime.
One thing, Jason, I did last time we talked. Ken had asked me to watch Werewolf by Night. I did watch it on my flight to Seattle. I thought it was great. I thought it was unique. I thought it was. Here's what I liked about it. It was quirky. It was Twilight Zone-y meets campy a little bit. It was. Had sort of like trying to think what was going on. It was sort of quirky and funny. And by the way, 1 episode. Okay, Disney. Normally, you would have spun that out to like 12 episodes and bored the crap out of me. So thank you. 1 episode. So good job.
Yeah, it's great. I highly recommend you guys watch it. It's fun. It's a fun movie.
It's quick.
It's really well done.
It's a quick romp and delightful.
Well, take a look. Well, thanks everyone. That was a great show. We're loving the game. We'll be back for more. Stu's got to finish campaign. He's got to rank up his guns. And I think with that, we're gonna call it. We're gonna call it quits on this episode. Until the next episode, we're the old guys playing games. I'm Jason.
I'm Josh.
I'm Ken.
And I'm last.
Stu can do it on that one. That's easy for Stu to do it.
I do have it written down right here, though. I have it written down on my screen.
Oh, he written it down.
Sticky.
Okay.
That's now my laptop.